If you're watching this video, it means that the new patch is already out. We're about 2.5 hours into the patch. I still haven't looked at all the cards that were being released. I said I'd wait till I make this video, so here we are. I know I'm a little bit late, but if you've already played some of the new cards, you can share your opinions of how good they are, and we can compare them to what I'm seeing for the first time looking in, okay? So we'll go through them here. 36 new cards. I don't want to spend too much time on one particular card, and we'll talk about them obviously more as I play them in the deck guides and things like that too. So we have King Trum, Ogroid, and Warrior. Deploy with Might, so Might would be the 10 power plus unit on each row. Gain Resilience. The base power of this card is equal to the number of Ogroids in your starting deck. So you could probably really jam them in the deck. With new Ogroids in this patch, we have a few. There are also some remaining ones from before. It does have the condition of Might. It does have the condition of putting in a bunch of Ogroids, and it is 14 provision. So with that being said, it's definitely conditional. It could be good, but I don't know if it's going to be better than She Who Knows at 13p. So we'll have to see how this one goes. We'll definitely play it. It looks promising. Deploy Might, gain Resilience. So it's basically a one-time thing, and if it gets purified, then it doesn't have the ability to get that resilience again. I'm not thoroughly impressed with what I see here, but again, there's potential, and we'll have to see when we play it. Girdle of Giant Strength. So I did see this reveal during the tournament last weekend, and boost an allied unit by 10. With Might, when you play an Ogroid, play Self from your graveyard in game Doomed. So essentially it has an echo to it. And it plays kind of like the Spring Equinox in the fast tempo boost type of play. So we're getting 20 points. And you play the Ogroid to trigger the echo essentially. It's not really an echo, it's like a pseudo echo. The fact that it gains Doomed shows me that lessons were learned here, which is fine. It's a 20 for 12, essentially with the condition you play a card. I believe that this is going to get some play. This could be very good in Kelly decks. This could be very good in Ogroid focus decks. This could be very good with some of the patch note updates that we've seen. They changed the Ice Giants, which is interesting. So that kind of makes up for having to play 2 Ice Giants. You get some really quick points here for some slower points somewhere else. I think that this is going to be played a lot. Ogre Warrior, another Ogroid and Warrior. Boosts out by 2 for each allied with 10 or more power. Monsters has a very easy time doing this. We have cards like Yigern. We have the Goliath, went up to 12 power. We have, I guess, Kelly plus a boost. It doesn't really say base power, right? So we could do anything that's just boosted above 10. Witch Apprentice. Relics are going to be easy for this, so that's interesting. 6 provision, 6 base power. I think it's reasonable that we can get 4 to 5 cards on each, like on our side of the board, really, with 10 plus power. Maybe even more. I could see this as like a finisher play, coming down at 12 to 14 points. And if that's the case, it's really good. But again, there is that condition, and we do have to play tall. So we are more prone to getting tall punished, right? I would imagine that there are going to be a lot of heat waves going around, probably a lot of Ignis going around, especially if you're trying to play against the Might. We know people are aiming for 10. We could ping things down a little bit and just wipe the whole row. So this card looks like it would have really good payoff, but it just really comes down to what type of deck you're playing, what the board state suggests, the length of the round. If you have round control, you can help with this a bit better. If you're being pushed and you have a short round 3, it might be more difficult. Lord Riptide. So that's a cool art. I like that one. Another Ogroid and Warrior, 10 and 8 provision. And melee clash with the highest power enemy unit. Might at the end of your turn while in hand gain 2 armor. That's interesting. This reminds me of Bjorn, but better. Which is funny, because I thought Clash was like a Skellige thing, but here we are. 10? Yeah, that's just like quick removal. So all you gotta do is get Might as soon as possible, have this in hand, and start accumulating. Maybe the pitfall is actually having it in your hand, but I could see this being played in Golden Necker decks really easily. You take Triss, you pull it, or even the stratagem. You can take Curse Scroll, pull it early, put down a couple slams, wait, accrue, and then you bleed in. They play a valuable engine, you clash it, you see the vision. 2 armor is actually pretty quick. So it wouldn't take many turns to actually get this to just be break even, and then just hit whatever you want. And even if we lose like 4 points, we still had like control on demand, where Monsters has a difficult time with that sometimes. So I think this card is probably one of my favorite ones so far from what we've seen here. I think Lord Riptide is like one of the more strategic ones. Same with the Warrior. This is just kind of a point slam, and this feels too conditional to me so far. Now, I scrolled quickly. There are a couple more monster ones coming below the Scoia'tael, which we'll get to, but we'll do them in order. So we have Reardane and Elf Bandit Soldier. Deploy if played adjacent to at least 1 trap or elf. There's different conditions, so play an elf from your deck with a trap. Oh, wow. And then play it next to an elf, play a trap from your... That's crazy. It makes me feel like people are probably going to be cutting Vernasio and putting in something like this, because the consistency route is always good. And imagine you put it next to a trap and you play like a Simlas or something like that, or Telly. This is kind of crazy. Play a trap from your deck. Yeah. This is looking pretty OP. But in a good way, because I like Scoia'tael, and it's nice to see something other than Saskia or Simlas for thinning and for point slam. So I have high hopes for this card. I just hope that it's not abused, because I feel like this would be like a staple. Especially 5 base power is pretty good. FYI, the second part should read Elf, play a trap from your deck. Yeah, okay. I missed that at first. I assumed that would be what it was. Yeah, that's fine. Because why would you ever want to just play a trap from your hand? You're playing 2 cards 1 turn, sure, but then you're down a card. Okay. So they just fixed that. It's deck, guys. It's deck. And Deception. Ambush timer 3. Spawn 3 Deadeyes on the row. And if we spring it, we spawn 2 Deadeyes on the row. Deception. So we're getting 9 for 7. It's proactive. And it sets up plays like Yavin. It sets up plays like Vernasio. It sets up plays like Isengrim. If you want to go and take just anything that's going to either boost or benefit from X amount of elves on a row, this is a very good card to have. I think this is really nice. So far, I'm really feeling these cards. Sticky Situations, the next one here. So Ambush, when your opponent plays a unit with 4 or less power, flip self. At the end of your turn, boost adjacent units by 2. When your opponent passes while this card's face up, lock self. Fair. Spring, boost a unit in your hand by 6, then lock self. At least you get the instant payoff, because let's say you're playing a couple cards into a round, you play this, they pass, you don't really get value from it. At least here you can spring it. Sure. 4 less power, flip self. That's reasonable. Because any engine early on. So what you'd want to do is you'd want to get a spawn going quick. Like a half-elf hunter. You get the main base, and then you get the token, sandwich this in between, and then they play their next card, and then you start just cramming value. It would be one of those situations, or even this with the deception, but this would be a more progressive play. I think it's better just to get something that spawns a second one, and then you have that taken care of. Okay? Trap Maker, Elf, Bandit, Soldier. I like that they're actually putting these 3 tags because of cargo. It gives us more options. And deploy boosts out by 3 for each face down allied trap. That's going to be difficult in some regard because they will be proccing some. Some of them do have timers though. So we'd have to go for the ones with the timers essentially. I guess like this, maybe Crushing Trap, things of that sort. So in a perfect situation, I think that we'd probably be able to get 6 boost on this card. It would play for an 8 for 4. I don't see how we'd normally get 3 cards. It would be like a lot more difficult to do that unless we had a play multiple traps type situation going on, where this would get 9 boost, which would be crazy. I would budget when you're playing this card for having it boost by 6 personally, but it's not that you can't go more than that. Going up and finishing monsters here, we have Moshcraft's Reveal. If you guys haven't checked him out on Twitch already, I watch him quite a bit. Check him out, he's probably live right now. And Tugo the Elder. At the end of your turn, boost the lowest power unit you control by 1. Okay. Might boost all lowest power units you control by 1 instead. Ah. Damn. So it's a 1 point per turn engine, but then it could turn into like a 10 point. Again, it is locked by the condition of might. So there's that. But the card coming down 9 for 11 is nice. And at the end of the first turn, it's going to be 10 for 11. And then it's really climbing. And we already know people are going to be like, oh, well, if I take Araka's Queen and copy that and Death Wish that and make 3 of them. And then, like, it's going to be that type of card. I bet you someone has already tried this or is working on it as we speak. I don't like duplicating cards a million times, but that could be a possibility for some. I would probably just play the one-off as intended. And either way, I think it's still going to be a strong card. And we have Reddit got the reveal here. So Cyclops Warrior, timer 5, set own base power to 10. Jeez. Deploy, reduce the timer by 1 for each Ogroid in your hand. Yeah. So all of a sudden, this whole might thing seems that much more attainable. Because literally, if you can jam enough Ogroids in your hand, then you can have it basically... You can have it maybe a timer 2, timer 1, and then it's very easy to pull off. The thing that I like here is that it's set own base power to 10, not boost self by 10, and what that prevents is the mega scope nonsense, because if you scope it, then you don't get the deploy effect. So you scope it and it literally is 5 turns. And also it gives your opponent more of a chance to answer it, because coming down at 4 base power, if you boost it and then it sets power, you're wasting boosts. So there's going to be a little bit less focus on boosting this. I would still see you running 2 of these in a deck if you're trying to play around might, but it might, get it, be difficult to pull this off when your opponent has a lot of control, basically. So there's that. And Lirio, teammate, I'm cheering for you in this tournament this year, so make us proud of Team Legacy, right? We have a reveal from him as well. Hostage Taker, Elf, Bandit, Soldier. Deploy, seize an enemy with 0 or less power. Imagine, -1. And then transform the seized unit into a Deadeye without changing its power. The maximum power is increased by 1 for each trap you played this round. So you can play 3 or 4 traps, and then you can play this and you can seize something that's 3 or 4 power. You know what I mean? Which is reasonable. It's a good swing. It becomes like an amnesty at that point with a base body. Now, it's a little conditional. I think that this could be something that is going to be played more off of the create and play. We have good create and play options for Scoia'tael. Backup plan would be one of them, and this would be another option for that. However, I could see you running maybe a couple of these if you're playing the Precision Strike variants where you have those pings available, because then you can really manipulate board state so that you have what you need. I like that it transforms whatever you seized into a Deadeye, because oftentimes we want to have elves on our side of the board, and other things would be anti-synergistic, so this makes a lot of sense. Cool card. Miss Lady J reveals Angus Bree Cree. I think that's how you say it. Another elf, bandit, and soldier. Deploy for the rest of the match whenever you spawn an elven Deadeye boosted by 1. Jeez. If your starting deck has at least 4 unique traps, this card okay. This card starts in your hand. Jeez. I think I thought monsters were pretty strong, but it feels so far like Scoia'tael got the treatment, you know what I'm saying? This is the only card that I'm like, it's a little conditional, but this is just good on deploy. This is literally on deploy worth like 20 points with this contingency. And then, this is, okay. It's really, pretty much all the Scoia'tael cards are just really good, except for Trapmaker being contingent on certain board state, which is fine. I think that's reasonable, and then with this one as well. But regardless, if you have all the pieces, you could pull those off even, and there's no problem with them. So I'm very impressed by Scoia'tael. I'm actually a little bit worried that I'm going to have to be playing against this all day, but we'll see. We have Nilfgaard on Tuesday's reveal, card number 13, Admiral, Rompoli, Human, Soldier, Aristocrat. I like to see more Aristocrat options. Zeal, Order, choose 3 enemy units, then give them lock, poison, and spying in that. Okay. That's going to be a huge payoff card for your Thirsty Dames. Think about that. And if you have Philip on the board, we're talking about same turn poisons. If you have Masquerade on the board, it's just going to go absolutely crazy. At the end of your turn, boost self by the highest number of statuses on an enemy unit. So what? You're just going to give something bleeding, lock, doomed, spying, poison. Jeez, just kill the card already. At the end of your turn, boost self by the highest number of statuses on an enemy unit. I think that what it feels like to me is that this happens once, but what it could be is that it happens at the end of every turn, which I believe is actually the way it's supposed to be, because it would have said at the end of this turn, you would think. So I'm pretty sure this engines, plus it has these 3 deploys, okay? Which is scary. So I guess it basically says, we don't have to remove everything as soon as we give it a status. You can just let it float and just kind of get value from it that way, which is very interesting. So I'll have to try this out, but I'm sure one of you guys have played it by now. Maybe just let us know in the comments what they meant by that, but I'm going to have to go and say it's every turn. Okay? We have Battle Stations. Tactic. Okay, new tactic. The artwork on this one's probably one of my favorite ones so far. I like that, I like just boats and backgrounds, like scenery, these types of cards, more than I like just the ones with people. So that looks like a premium to me. Now, draw up the 2 bronze cards from your hand, then draw as many cards. Or play up to 2 bronze cards from hand, then draw as many cards. That's exactly what Nilfgaard needs, right? Just faster playing. They already can make a million Magnies and play in draws. This is just going to be adding to that whole strategy. I think that this card's going to get a lot of play. The nice part about it, though, is that with a card looking this nice, then there will be less incentive to play Renfrey and things like that. Right? Ball's back with this one. Battle Stations feels like it's playing more into the Enslave. But it's pretty versatile as well, because most decks run Calvite, and you want to have tactics for Calvite. So, interesting enough. I think this is going to see a lot of play. I think this is going to be limited to one archetype, right? Yo, shout out to Lemon44, man. Lemon44 coached me back in the day, first 2500 with Nilfgaard, because I'm not a huge Nilfgaard player, and we played Assimilate. It was really cool. It was back when I think Portal Assimilate was the go-to. So it's nice to see Lemon getting a reveal here, and we have Imperial Marine, has flanking, Zeal, Order, choose a card from your deck. At the end of your turn, move it one position towards the top of your deck. If it's on the top, boost self by 1 instead. So any sort of hyper thin or deck manipulation would be where you'd want to play this by the looks of it. Choose a card from your deck at the end of your turn. Move it one position towards the top. If it's on the top, boost self by 1. Yeah, you want to get it to the top as soon as possible. And then this starts boosting itself. Now, it's a soldier, so we can go and make the copies of it. So you can, I'm guessing, choose the same card with multiple ones of this and just have them all going. I don't know about this. I mean, flanking is nice to see. Then they just really pop off. I guess flanking is what's going to make it strong. 2 procs per turn instead of the 1. Well, it's boost up by 1 instead. But then it would be, yeah. This card could be really good. I'd have to see it in play. I don't know. Like, I feel like Nilfgaard has a lot of good damage engines that maybe are just more useful than boost ones. But again, it's not bad from the outside looking in. We have Pio, and we got that Catriona. So another machine ship, flanking, order, poison and non-poison unit with at least 1 status. At the end of your turn, gain 1 charge, charge 1. So basically kill this card as soon as you see it, because it's just a rotating poison that you can just, it's like Morale. Morale on steroids, man. Look at this. With at least 1 status. That's easy to do. At the end of your turn, gain 1 charge, charge 1. Like, you see this at 5p, you kill this at 5p. If you're playing monsters, you put control. If you're playing anything, you put control. This card won't stand up to Scoia'tael, I don't think. Unfortunately, this will get mashed pretty quick. Same with Skellige. But if you have no answer, you're kind of in trouble. So, interesting card, needless to say. If it sticks, it really sticks. And we've got Kung Fu here with the... It says Nilfgaard plus Skellige, but I only see 1 label. That's strange. Okay. Zeal, order, infuse an enemy with at the end of your turn, damage self. For each active flanking unit on the opposite row, charge 1. My first guess would be that this would look really nice in sort of like a Skellige. I keep saying Skellige. See, they got me confused. I was thinking Skellige Witchers. Either way. So yeah, it's just like board control. I could see this popping off like with this. You know it's going to be hand in hand. Okay, that's a cool combo. You can make a deck around this type of stuff. But I wish it was Skellige now, because I was thinking about Witchers for a second. Interesting enough card. Bakala, location, 13p. I swear they get all the locations. That's amazing. Okay, that's like my favorite one. I'm going to premium this right away if I can. It has resilience, deploy, spawn Imperial Fleet to the left of self, and Imperial Marine to the right of self. So on the left side we're getting... Is that how it goes? Yeah, left side we're getting this, and right side we're getting this. cool. Literally getting, it's like a portal. Boost 2 ally by 2 and swap their positions. Yeah, this is going to play into Imperial formations really well. Like, the whole deck will. You can help keep these alive by giving them armor and stuff like that. Wow. It's crazy because you get the carryover from it, but then you get the portal effect. And I've been playing Portal a lot, and I've been thinking that it's actually very good. But this gets those 2 engines out there at the same time and starts getting to work here. So this is actually something I'm concerned about. But I'm sure that it'll all kind of balance out a little bit better when we look at the other factions. We had Sealy do a reveal for Skellige, and it's Hjalmar Seawolf, human, warrior, pirate. On melee deploy, clash with an enemy unit whenever you play a raid. Remove all armor from self and adjacent pirates and ships, then boost them and self by the amounts removed. So this would be more into the armor payoff, because I feel that there's been a lot of complaints about, well, we have so much armor on these cards and we don't need it, yada yada. But I mean, it is defensive, but after all, if you want to convert that into points, then you can use something like this as a finisher perhaps, and play it sort of like mid to late, and whatever armor's left, you strip it off, and then you have the clash for a little bit more defense or offense, get rid of some things. That's interesting. So this could come down at 10. I mean, best case scenario, we have like 10 armor, which is possible. So it would be like an even kill. And then we'd have raids. And then the raid would literally just remove whatever's left. Let's say we have like 5 things with 2. That could be a pretty big play. But remember, it's whenever. So you'd have to actively give armor to other things on the board in order to keep getting that. So keep that in mind. Justiana on crate. Veteran. Damage self by own base power, then split as much damage randomly between all enemy units. So Veteran's nice. Another card for King Bran to boost up. Damage self by own base power. Yeah, this could be good for like those Witcher payoff decks that I was thinking about, where you want to play the Bear Witchers and get the huge boosts, like the Mentors. This could also just be good for you wanting to wipe the board if you're going to playing like Reckless Flurry type deck, but I think that provided the Pirate, you'd usually want to try to put this with Onslaught, and when you play this with Onslaught, you'll be getting armor back whenever we damage something on their side. So preferably, you want to get the armor to 6+ so that you don't actually lose base power. It's kind of like having a Delirium mixed in with a 6 body at 10 provisions, which is interesting. So 12 for 10, essentially, but we also get the Veteran, so this could proc on the beginning of the round, on round 1, so it'd be 7, 8, then 9 by round 3, which is decent. 9 and 9, so 18 for 10, if everything goes well, which makes it fairly strong, right? Think about that, 18 for 10. If we're getting that anywhere, we're pretty happy. Obviously, we have to make sure we get the armor, but I don't think that's going to be the huge problem, okay? We have Kyre Trolled, location, resilience, deploy, create a bronze on-crate unit. Order, give an allied unit 6 armor, then it clashes with an enemy unit. Well, the return of Golden Necker Pirates begins, okay? They lost their compass, but they got their Kyre Trolled, so I think everything just kind of works out a little bit, doesn't it? That's probably what we're going to see in some cases. I mean, that's really good. We get a unit out of it, but then we get literally 6 armor and a clash. That's like a removal card on demand. And you can carry it over, so if we can't do it in round 2, we do a short round 3, they can't even play the cards that they have. Massive. Good on them for giving it to Shin too. That's a busted card. I like to see what he does with it. but I'm thinking Golden Necker is going to be good. I mean, pretty much any deck you make could use this card, but just the fact that it's 9 and an artifact makes it really suitable for that. We have next one here, Abordage. So it's a raid, 6p. I love the dog. That's great. Damage an enemy unit by 2. Bloodthirst 2. Play a pirate from your hand, then draw a card. Okay. So we set up BT2. You could do that with PF Leader, or you could do that with Onslaught. Easy enough. I think you really don't care. You just like being able to draw cards. And then Pirate from Hand, again, some cards have dual tags, so it doesn't matter. You can play like literally like anything that has a dual tag. A lot of times you're putting in dual tag pirates / warriors anyways in warrior decks, so easy enough. And then we just get that consistency. I like it. I think it's pretty reasonable. We get a play, we get a draw, and we get the damage off of it. And so the damage resolves before the BT2. So if we have Bloodthirst 1, we hit for 2. We have Bloodthirst 2 now. We get to play and then draw. This will get abused. This will get used, man. This will get used. In every single deck, I think you put 2. Funeral Boat. Whenever a card enters your graveyard, or either whenever a card enters either graveyard, damage a random enemy unit by 1. So Funeral Boat feels like something that you would put in your deck as a proactive play. And then you can start playing damage stuff when your opponent plays. Let's say if you're on blue coin. Or it could be a tool that you put in a discard deck without having a lot of other damage options, just to be able to funnel out some damage. So if I were to put out 1 or 2 of these in round 1 and then take Coral, Burna, Stratagem, and start doing the whole discard thing, then you can imagine how this would tick quite a bit. I think that it would be a little bit slower if you did it with the discard way. It's probably better if you just put this card down and started, trying to kill their stuff, but you could essentially do both because it's either graveyard, so we can discard and we can go and try to kill some things. So what I like about this is that it looks like a good backup plan for raiding fleet. Oftentimes maybe you're playing a type of deck where you don't feel the ranged boats are really as good as the melee boats, and you just want to put only the melee boats, but you want to play the raiding fleet. Well, now you can put these two and you can put those melee boats, and it just feels a little bit smoother. I feel like the range boats, now that Onslaught has its reworked ability in gaining the armor, is really only suitable for that one deck. It feels kind of bad playing it otherwise, so this would be another good option for that reason. And you can imagine here too, imagine you're playing against Arrakis Swarm, and you have Fukusha into this, and then you have Rain for literally like the 6 turns, and then every turn tokens are dying. I guess you'd have to do a wide Purify before that works, but anything that's like a low base power, like Deadeyes, could be falling into that category where this could get a lot of procs, right? Especially with the new reworked Wild Boar of the Sea, a little bit more base power. You can imagine just get a bunch of Rain out there, get some stuff out there, Cataclysm, whatever it is, and then just wide punish that row, and this thing can light up. It's an interesting concept. It has some contingencies. It is fairly easy to remove, which is the real downside of it, but other than that, it looks pretty good. Naval Supremacy. Create and play a bronze Skellige ship. While in graveyard, whenever a card is played, damage it by 1. After 13 damage has been dealt, banish self. So what they're telling us here is that we get a bronze ship, and if we can play this card early enough, we got to play a unit though. We got to play like a lot of units to make this count. But we can get up to 13 damage plus a boat, essentially. I don't think that we're going to be getting that much because Skellige has a lot of specials that we want to play, but it's quite possible with the abordage as well. If you think about it, we're playing 2 units here even though we're playing raids, so it plays into both synergies. And there is a lot of like graveyard resurrections off of raids and Freyas and that type of stuff, so I could see it actually getting quite a few turns. It's about getting this down early enough to capitalize on this. Most of the time, unless you have a direct tutor for it, maybe we get like anywhere between 8 to 10 at best, but 13 is possible in a game if we have like a Vapyor in round 1 or Curse Scroll, whatever have you. Be a good way to start the round. This card's looking really strong at a first glance for sure. So this is one I haven't seen yet, and I'm excited about it because I had my reveal coming up next. But the Qcento, so machine and ship, profit 6, vice 10, play the top card from your deck. Finally. Listen, Syndicate is one of those things where there's not a lot for consistency and thinning, and they just nerfed Vivaldi Bank, so it really takes away a lot from what we have to thin with, okay? We have Nilfgaardian Justice, Vivaldi Bank, we have Flying Redanian, there's not like a whole lot. We have Furco, you know, stuff like that. But Qcento being able to actually give us profit 6, and then if we have 4 of the coin and we spend down 10, we're playing the top card from our deck. Vice essentially means whenever you spend X amount of coins, this effect happens. So it's not limiting it to once, you're able to actually keep going with it. So every 10 coins we spend, we're able to play another card from our deck. Now, the pitfall is trying to keep this alive. But with cards like Candle and the Defender, we have Azar with the tokens, we could boost those up with Candle even as well. You can imagine that that is spending in its own. And then we have this just funneling out more and more cards, so maybe we can even go and just play the whole deck if left unchecked. And when Syndicate can get cards on the board quick enough, it's a very deadly faction. So this actually helps with that quite a bit. Now, on deploy, what I like about it is that it plays for arguably 13 or 14 points. I know it comes down at 12, but oftentimes there are 2-for-1 spenders in Syndicate. So I would say 13 or 14, but 12 is the floor. The ceiling of this card is you're just winning the game and some. But again, based on the control options we've seen from Skellige and the options we've seen from elves in Scoia'tael, I think that it's going to be wishful thinking to keep this on the board. But again, there's definitely ways that we can. So I'm excited about that. Definitely. And we have my card I revealed. If you want to check out the video, it was on Friday of last week. So it's still on my channel. Qcento Deckhand. It's a human, pirate, vice 3, boost self by 1. I had a lot of negative feedback for this card, but I really don't think it's that bad. Because for every 3 coins we spend, it boosts itself by 1. And we can spend 9 coins off leader in 1 turn. So that's 3 boosts in 1 turn for this card. So if I put this down and spend full leader, let's say if I'm playing bounty and I want to go for a kill, I put this down right before I get the kill and I just spend all, and then this boosts by 3. Then it's out of removal reach. And then the next turn they play something else, I give it bounty, I kill it. This goes up again. And again, you see what I'm trying to say? And we also have leader abilities that actually have coins in storage. So you can imagine that this card, if left unchecked, could be a big deal. And that's not a biased thing because I revealed the card. It's just, I know it has a low floor, but it's got a really high ceiling. It's one of those type of cards, just like the Qcento. We have Magpie. I saw this one before, and I think it's a really good card design. It's very interesting because not only do we have Witchfinder, we have actually a new card that can spawn crowns. It's interesting enough. So, profit 2, base power 3, provision 5. Fee 1, spawn a Syndicate crown on this row with a cooldown of 1. Doesn't seem like a lot, but you're able to basically get the spending in, right? You can profit, and then fee 1, you're spending a coin, but then you're getting a crown, but then you're able to spend the crown. You see how this directly makes this better? Because look, I spend one to get one. I spend it to get, you see? And all of a sudden you're getting 2 for 1 spend, and then you just gotta find one other coin to spend somewhere else. Which shouldn't be that difficult. So Magpie helps set up a strategy like that. Magpie really helps set up bounty when you don't want to overprofit. You can actually put into crowns, and you can not have to waste as much coins that way. I think it's very flexible. We had Wiku's reveal as well, Ixora. This card is intriguing, and I want to see how we can make it work to the best of its ability. Vice 6, destroy the lowest power enemy unit. So you have to budget this as if it were the lowest power would be 3 or 2, because a lot of tokens are going around. But if done correctly, then this could be deadly. Let's say, for example, opponent plays Tatterwing on an empty board, okay? And let's say we're playing Pirate's Cove leader ability, and we have some coins. We put this down, we click the leader ability, and we spend the 6 coins, we kill the Tatterwing. It's these kind of things that could be really good, but it's all about setting up those perfect situations. So I would play this more conservatively and just imagine that if I would put this in a deck, I'm killing tokens, okay? And I think that if that's the expectation that you're going for, you're going to be impressed. If you're trying to take out 10, 20p units, it might disappoint you a little bit, but you have to remember that this is 8 power coming down, 8 provisions. This is going to be hard to remove. And Vice 6 is not impossible. If we can proc this multiple times per turn, then we can definitely proc this once per turn. You see the vision? These 3 are kind of, it's a loop. They're going all together. I haven't seen this card yet. Captain Yago. Human pirate, deploy, gain as many coins as you spent this turn. Okay. That's great. So basically I spend 9 coins and then I put this card down. That's crazy. This is like Siggy with a higher base power with no condition of tags. That's crazy. And it's funny because everyone's saying, oh, the Syndicate card reveals are so underwhelming. This is crazy. Gain as many coins you spent this turn. Obviously, you could set that up the way you want to do it. If you're playing Horde, the last turn of the round, you put this down. Boom. You can carry over, or you can just make sure you win on even if you're looking to catch up. Right? It can be done in so many different ways. Bounty. I can't wait to play this one. This is crazy. I'm going to make this premium. It's got the crossbow, which I like. It's got the bird. Is that the magpie? Which I like. It's got the boats, which I like. It's got the coins. Again, which I like. So I'm excited for this one. It's looking pretty nuts. Mercenary Contract Crime card. Finally, we see some crimes here. So profit 5. Spend all your coins, then play a unit from your deck with a provision cost up to the number of coins spent. Okay. Look at this. This is actually so good. Profit 5, spend all your coins, then play a unit from your deck with the provision cost up to the number of coins spent. So, worst case scenario, you play a 5 provision unit. Best case scenario, you play a 9 provision unit. Either way, you're playing a unit from your deck, and you're getting 5 profit. It's basically taking Eavesdrop and combining it with a Vivaldi Bank. It's basically like a Vivaldi Bank at 7. Because you're profiting 5, and then you're spending to look. And for what it's worth, Vivaldi will subtract a coin for every card beyond the first, right? So then you have like the first 3 free, then it kind of goes down, I think. So if I want something from the bottom, I'm spending down anyways. The fact that I can guarantee something 9 and under, I know it's a little bit more conditional than something like Vivaldi Bank because we're limited to the provision power, but either way, you can get a lot of playmakers out of your deck for those provisions. For 9 and under in Syndicate, most of the really good cards, that's why Golden Necker decks were so good. because it has so many good 7 through 9 provision cards in this faction. This could be played in anything. Wow. See, these two really made a difference, and they further support how I like these ones. And I think that Syndicate requires a bit more critical thinking than some of the other factions. So at a first glance, it doesn't appear to be as strong. But let me tell you, these are not weak cards. By looking at these, I think that these are really good. Balder Gamer, my brother from Poland. We have a reveal here from him. He's got a crazy, crazy card. Okay, let's see it. 13 provisions, damn. Ravenin Kimball. Human Aristocrat Soldier. Deploy boost 3 bronze units in your deck by 1. The first time an allied unit uses its order each turn, summon a random unit with the same power from your deck to this. Oh my gosh. So we're boosting 3 bronze units in our deck by 1. So that's good Erlin carryover, that's good many things carryover, right? The first time an allied unit uses its order each turn, that's basically any Northern Realms deck. Summon a random unit with the same power from your deck to this row. So you can actually use this to manipulate the powers in your deck, and then basically go ahead and make your board state match that, and then summon out that card. This is nasty. When you see this, you remove this as soon as possible. Because the floor of this card is basically 9 points. But the problem is that you can trigger it the first turn. So it'd be 9 plus whatever you summoned, and whatever that's worth is really the floor. The ceiling is like... you're just going for it, right? You're basically thinning out your whole deck. So you got to be careful with this one, guys. When you see it, you remove it, much like our buddy here, Akarancha up top. Ship Ballista, revealed by Demarcation. Haven't seen that name in a while. Welcome back. And order, damage an enemy unit by 2, then boost a random non-boosted unit in your deck by the excess damage dealt. Increase the damage for each time used an order ability this turn. This could be played in Reavers, this can be played in Siege, this can be played in Carryover, this can be played in so many different things. Damage by 2 and boost a non-boosted by the excess damage dealt. So normally you're going for just the 2. I guess you can manipulate it so that you get a death blow +1, which would be decent. Increase the damage by each, so you would just basically, if you wanted the carryover, you'd use a bunch of orders, have something at 1, and finish the kill, and then you'd get like maybe 4 or 5 carryover from that. If you just wanted to use the damage and kill something and not worry about it, then you use a few orders, and then you just use this after. Where would this be good? It would be nice in Shield Wall, so you can protect it. I'm glad that it's not a soldier. That was a really smart decision to not make this a soldier. And yeah, it won't be abused like that, but I think it's an interesting card. I think it can see some play for sure. We have King Damavind the third, sorry. Human Aristocrat, deploy, banish 3 cards from your deck, order, play a base copy of one of them, then remove it from the list. Cooldown 2. So you're getting the thinning, which you're looking for right away, but then you're getting the cards back in the form of just, you know, playing them because of this. So you can look at it like just playing down cards, but some people might just care about just the banishing part, and that's fine. Surely you can just Inspired Zeal this and then get that out the first turn. That's what I would probably do. Or just use like a siege support, give it, you know, the order, use it. You can reset the order with Varaxis, which is appealing. In a short round, this and Varaxis would actually be very good. Let's say if you didn't draw a few cards, it's amazing point slam. 7, Varaxis, let's say range row. we reset the order. And then if it's a 3-card round, we can play 3 cards from deck. So that could be a really good finisher. That could be good for devotion. It could also be good for non-devotion. It's a very flexible card. And again, one of those ones, you see it, you try to remove it. There's a lot of those this patch, by the looks of it. This patch feels to me like the expansion that they really focused on thinning and consistency cards. And one thing you want to remember is that too much thinning means not enough points, but it's funny because these cards are thinning and points, which makes them scary. It's just nice that everyone's got it. But having looked at some of these here, monsters don't really seem as crazy. We have Bernard, Laredo, and Human Soldier. Order, duel a random enemy unit. That's cool. That's fine. Inspired Zeal, boost, and then boom. It's like a 7 provision Selkirk. What? I guess it's random though. But you can manipulate that by just, they put down a card, we put this down, and then give it Zeal and use it. It's Selkirk at a bargain. Shield Wall would be good for this as well. Take no damage. You can reset the order. Viraxis. They really want Viraxis to see more play. That's what it's looking like. Sick. Orniger. Whenever you use an order ability, damage a random enemy unit by 1. Okay. This card is looking pretty good. A Dahlia into this, it has a shield that can't stop it. You play down another copy, it procs a siege, which is kind of nice. And then whenever you use orders, you've got all your siege engines lined up for orders, and then you can imagine, right? I made a deck that I haven't posted yet. Maybe I'll do it as part of the new patch, first week kind of thing, and change it up a little bit. But this could be a good card to fit in there, you know. The Rafford's Vengeance tempo dumping decks will be nice because you get out a bunch of cards with orders. And just Siege in general will be good. But like I said, most Northern Realms has just a bunch of engines that have order abilities. And we have Lionheart's reveal. Shout out to Lionheart. Here we got Flotsam, Location, Resilience, Deploy. Create a Bronze Northern Realms unit with an order ability. Okay. Order, refresh an allied bronze's order and give it Zeal. Damn. It's like a bronze little Viraxis again. And then you're also creating and playing. Yes. Finally, like, more cards for my Golden Necker Shield Wall idea. I've been really trying to think of a new way to beef up that deck and things like that. And I think that this would be a solid card to maybe consider putting in there. Because Kaer Saren is a cool location, but this has more synergy with some things. With other archetypes other than Witchers, right? So, cool stuff. I like the cards. For the most part, I'm pretty happy with this expansion. What I don't like is that the game has to be so quick. The game doesn't have to be that quick. We don't have to worry about dumping everything on the board as soon as possible. And that's a lot of what we see here. But I think that there's some new creative strategies introduced to the game, which is going to be good for content. It's going to be good for replayability, right? It's going to keep us busy for a while. And if you think about the card pool that we have right now, we're definitely up over 1,000 cards. These are very flexible new cards that can be put in with just about, I want to say every, but most archetypes within a faction. So I think they're really future forward with this one. They're looking to give us endless possibilities for years to come. So with that, I think that's good. I salute them for that. And again, guys, I know I've been talking for a while, but I want to hear from you. What do you guys think of the new expansion so far? I know some of you guys have been playing it. What cards do you think are good? What cards do you think need improvement? What cards do you not understand and need clarification on? Did I make any mistakes in my video? Let me know. Enlighten me, please. And that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys soon, and my next video is going to be a deck guide. I might be doing a live stream before that deck guide, just so that I can play the cards before I go and make the deck. It just makes sense that way, so look out for that as well on YouTube and or Twitch. I might do a multi-stream, but that's pretty much it for me. Have a good day, guys. We'll see you soon.